y'all. So today I'm going to be showing y'all the difference between the later M41 packs and the earlier M41 packs. And I'm going to just go through a few examples here. Alright, let's get into it. Alright, so starting off with my early World War II pack. So like early to mid World War II pack. So we have the poncho, the shovel, the earlier knapsack, or the riveted pack. And then we have the knapsack down here. And this is a depot made one, because you have the square buckles and then the square this piece right here. And this is a What Price Glory replica upper pack. It came with the straps. This is original, but yeah, not the pack, but yeah. So the difference between the riveted and then the later on models is this piece right here. Earlier models were riveted right here, as seen, and early on these rivets, they'd just pop out, tear off, and the Marines would have to adapt and overcome. And later on, they started coming out with these, sewing the straps on instead of riveting them on. And now, don't get me wrong, sometimes these would tear, but it is still better than the riveted ones. Now, the difference between the later ones and the early ones, you have a square buckle right here and on the strap right there. And then another difference between the earlier packs and the older packs is, well, the coloring. The coloring on the earlier packs, they would be tan, khaki, mustard, like a mustard color. Not that cheap Chinese bullshit, but it'd come in about like this. This is about what I'm talking about. Not so much that color shade, but still, they'd come in that shade, and that's what you'd have. Now the later models, which we'll get into right now. Here's the later models. So I'm just start up here. We have the later M43 shovel, all World War II original, both cover and shovel. Vietnam poncho, that one has a poncho too. The upper pack, and then you have the lower pack, or you have the upper and then the knapsack, which you'd have socks. You'd have t-shirts, socks, drawers like the underwear, and all that stuff. And like I don't know about food and crap, but yeah, you'd have all that, a blanket or your whoopee, whatever you were carrying at the time. And yeah, and then like I was telling you earlier, this is a depot made one, because you can tell the difference that. I believe this is a depot made one, or it was just using leftover straps from the Second World War. But yeah, this is a transitional. This was the transitional era where they used the dark OD green, like it's like an OD7 color, and mix it up with the khaki or the OD3 color, which is what you see here. And later on, you'd have OD on OD, not this stuff. And this is a 1952 dated one. No date on this one, because it is either it came off or there's no date. But yeah, and now let's flip the packs over. All right, so like I said earlier, you have the transitional colors on this knapsack. But if you look closely, the straps on this pack are tied. Meanwhile, this one is actually designed to go around these little loops down here. The reason why they changed from this to this is, well, because if you didn't have it in the parade style, I believe is what it's called, you just have to tie it, or you'd like do something. Yeah. But yeah, that's the reason why they switched from that to this, where they have a buckle right here that you'd put the strap through, up, and then it would come right here. And yeah. And then another thing you come across with the earlier marine style packs is you'd have a square buckle down here on this little strap. If this strap, most of the Marines in the Marine Corps at the time would just cut that shit off because, well, sometimes it wasn't long enough to reach your belt. And, well, I've had this experience a few times where it'll just stand like this and go in your back. Many Marines will just cut that shit off. And then going over here, you have a little curve on this one, which I'll show a photo right here of the earlier and later. Alright, y'all, so that will be all for today's video. Hopefully I'll have another video posted by next Friday. So I'll be seeing y'all then. Sayonara.